Hello viewers, we are discussing about enzymes chapter. In this session, we are going to discuss the continuation part of enzyme session, and we are going to begin with proenzymes, which are also called as zymogens or zymases. Some enzymes are synthesized and secreted as inactive form, which are called as proenzymes or zymogens, and these proenzymes which are in inactive form, whenever their action is required, they are get converted to active form. These precursor forms are converted to active form zymases in the site of their activity. This activation involves breaking of one or more specific covalent peptide bonds, and such modification is irreversible. So if I want to show a illustration, if you see this, a pen with a cap, if the cap is attached to the pen, it is in inactive form. So whenever we want to write, we will remove the cap and we will use the pen to write, so that the pen will get activated for writing with the removal of the cap. In the same way, there are certain enzymes which are in the inactive form and they have to undergo certain modification, like removal of a cap. Like that, in some enzymes, certain peptide bonds or peptide short fragments has to be removed to make them active. Then they will start their activity. So this inactive form of enzymes are called as proenzymes, and such modification is irreversible. Once it is getting converted to active, again it will not become inactive, especially in the case of enzymes. Example for these proenzymes are some proteases of gastrointestinal tract, such as trypsinogen. It's the active form. Its inactive form is trypsinogen and the active form is trypsin. Chymotrypsinogen is the inactive form and chymotrypsin is the active form. Pepsinogen is the inactive form and pepsin is the active form. Are synthesized as zymogens. For instance, trypsin secreted by pancreas as inactive, that is trypsinogen, as explained just now. And this trypsinogen, especially which is transported from pancreas to intestine, where it is converted to active form, that is trypsin, by breakage of specific covalent peptide bonds in the intestine by enzyme enterokinase. So trypsinogen secreted from pancreas in the inactive form, and then it is converted to active form in the intestine as trypsin, and it performs the digestion of proteins. Blood coagulation factors are also are in inactive forms, like collagen, like that fibrinogen, which are converted to active forms. So these enzymes which are in inactive forms are called as proenzymes. The synthesis of protease as proenzyme form protects the tissue whenever they are synthesized from autodigestion. For example, if a protein digesting enzymes is going to digest the proteins, the question arises why it will not digest our own body proteins. Even our body is also made up of proteins. The answer is these enzymes which are in inactive form, the protein digesting enzymes will get activated only when the certain food molecules is available and in the suitable condition or environment, and then acts on the food for the digestion. Hence, proenzymes plays a very important role for inactive secretion and active conversion during the requirement. Next is we are going to discuss about isoenzymes. Iso means same, enzymes means which performs catalytic activity. So isoenzymes means enzymes which can perform same catalytic activity, different or multiple forms of enzyme having same catalytic activity. Definition: if you can see, multiple forms of an enzyme catalyzing the same reactions are called isoenzymes or isozymes. If I want to show you a illustration, in this illustration, if you see, all these are modes of transport. You can move from one place to another place. The function is same, that is transport, but the mode is different. You can go by bicycle, car, bus, train, or aeroplane. So different forms of transport is there, but the action is same, activity is same, that is transport, but in different forms. The transport can be done from one place to another. So using this same illustration, if I want to explain isoenzymes, there are different forms of enzymes, but their activity is same. If you see the second paragraph, an enzyme may be exist in several molecular forms in same species. These multiple forms of enzymes are called as isoenzymes or isozymes. Multiple forms of enzymes, but activity is same. Okay, I can give lot of examples, but I have taken this example as a suitable one, where the transport is the main function and the modes are of different forms. Example, if you take a specific example regarding isoenzymes, lactate dehydrogenase enzyme exists in 5 different isoenzyme forms. And what is the function of lactate dehydrogenase? It helps in the conversion of pyruvate to lactate. After the arrow mark, you can see lactate by the enzyme lactate dehydrogenase. Below the arrow mark, you can see the 5 different forms of lactate dehydrogenase: LDH1, LDH2, LDH3, LDH4, and LDH5. So LDH is having 5 different isoenzyme forms. And if you come across another example, creatine kinase, which is a short form as CK, has 3 isoenzyme forms. Hence, if you come across pyruvate conversion to lactate, it can be done by 5 different forms of enzymes. And even though the enzymes are different in physical, chemical, and electroporetic mobility and other characteristics, their function is same, that is conversion of pyruvate to lactate. So continuation of isoenzymes. The characteristics of isoenzymes have different structures. So if you have seen in LDH1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are having different structure, different physical and chemical properties, but all the isoenzyme forms of an enzyme catalyze same reaction. So I will stress on this word, same reaction. That means acts on the same substrate to produce same product. So activity is same, but the enzymes are of different types. Isoenzymes have different amino acid composition, electrophoretic mobility, and immunological properties. And isoenzymes can be separated by electrophoresis. So how we can came across the 5 different forms are there in the lactate dehydrogenase? By performing electrophoresis, we came to know that there are different types of lactate dehydrogenase, and their function or activity is same. Isoenzymes have different km values and Vmax for the same substrate. Isoenzymes generally have more than one polypeptide chain. That means oligomeric units. They are not monomeric. Oligo means many, several um, molecular of proteins. They are going to combine to form oligomeric units. LDH has a 4 polypeptide chains and creatine kinase has a 2 polypeptide chain. If you come across lactate dehydrogenase, as just now we have studied lactate dehydrogenase, in this you can see the conversion of pyruvate to lactate takes place with the help of lactate dehydrogenase. It is present 5 different forms. In this, if you go in detail, there are 5 isoenzyme forms of LDH: LDH1, H2, H3, H4, H5. So in the left side first column you can see, in the second column it is the subunits. It is, since it is a made up of 4 polypeptide chain, in example you can see LDH has 4 polypeptide chains. The polypeptide is usually of 2 subunits, mainly H and M, and these H and M subunits refers to H for heart, M for muscle. LDH1 is having all the 4 subunits of H type, that is originated from the heart. You can see in the third column, and it is accountable for 30% of the total LDH in our body. LDH2 is made up of 3 H subunits and 1 M subunit, H3M, and it is usually originated from RBC. It accounts for 35%. LDH3 is having 2 H and 2 M subunits present in the brain and accounts for 20%, and LDH4 is having 1 H subunit and 3 M subunits, hence written as HM3. Its origin is in liver and accounts for 10%. LDH5 is having all the 4 subunits of M4. Since M stands for muscle, it is originated from the muscle and it accounts for 5% of the total LDH content in our body. So all these 5 enzymes, what you have seen now, they will perform the same function. that is conversion to pyruvate to lactate, even though their origin is different and subunit is different, but the function is same. So coming across diagnostic enzymes, diagnosis means finding out, to detect. So diagnosis enzymes are intracellular enzymes and have no specific role in the blood. These are present in different specific tissues and released into the blood during the normal wear and tear of these corresponding tissues. In healthy individuals, their blood concentration is very low and within certain normal levels. So, a, if you consider an enzyme which is present inside the cell, it should be present inside the cell if cell is in the good condition. If the cell will undergo any damage or lysis, then the content of the cell is going to release to the blood, indicating that the cell is undergone damage or lysis, and the concentration of the intracellular enzymes present in that cell which is released to the blood. If you detect it by blood tests, then you can find out the damage occurred to that tissue or a cell or a organ. So using this technique, we can usually able to find out the functioning of a organ and diagnosis of a functioning of a organ, whether it's in a good condition or whether it's undergone any pathological conditions or disorders. If the concentration is in the normal limits, then the cell is in good condition. If the or tissue is in good condition, if the normal value exceeds, that indicates the tissue is damaged. When the tissues are damaged, the corresponding enzymes are released. In the second paragraph. You can see the corresponding enzymes are released into the blood in more amounts, and their level in the blood markedly increases. The presence of increased level of these enzymes in blood reflects the possible damage of the corresponding tissue which is rich in that particular enzyme. Thus, by measuring the level of these enzymes in blood, we can relate the increased blood enzyme level condition to the disease of corresponding tissue. In a short form, if I want to explain, for example, if you take a balloon and put some substances inside the balloon and then blow it, whatever the substances you kept inside the balloon, it is present inside only, it will not come outside. Since the balloon is in a intact form, it is not bursted or damaged. And if you burst the balloon, and you can see that the contents inside the balloon will come out. So similarly, in the normal condition, the enzymes which should be present inside the cell, hence there will be normal concentration you can see in the blood. But whenever the tissue undergo damage, more and more content of the intracellular enzymes will come to the blood, indicating the increased level, which also depicts the damage of the tissue of that particular organ from where these enzymes are getting released. These enzymes are called diagnostic enzymes or clinical enzymes. The degree of elevation of these diagnostic enzymes often correlates with the extent of tissue damage. Depending upon the concentration, you can find out what level of the damage has been occurred. They are also useful using during prognosis of the disease. If you come across the certain examples, specific examples, ALT, which is also called as alanine transaminase, is rich in liver. Normal level is 3 to 40 international units per liter. During liver disease, the normal levels. During the liver diseases, ALT is released into the blood and their level increases in the blood, which reflects a possible liver damage. When the concentration increases more than 40 international units, that means more than the normal, that indicates the liver damage, because ALT is related to this enzyme is related to liver functioning. AST, aspartate transaminase, is rich in heart and in liver. Normal level is 4 to 40 international units. The increased level of this enzyme, that is aspartate transaminase, indicates the possible heart attack or liver disease. So heart related diseases can be assessed by the concentration of this enzyme in the blood. LDH, that means lactate dehydrogenase, and CKB, creatinine kinase isoenzyme, are rich in heart. So during myocardial infarction, LDH1 and CKB enzymes level increases in the blood. Hence, you can able to detect the heart condition of a person by estimating these diagnostic enzymes levels in the blood and comparing that level with the normal value. So these are the other examples related to diagnostic enzymes. You can see in the first column alkaline phosphatase ALP, that is related to bone and biliary canculi, its normal values, and when in which condition it is increased, and acid phosphatase primary source and its normal concentration, and then when the condition occurs of this enzyme increases, and what is the diagnostic condition. And then amylase, you can see in the second column pancreas cellular amylase and its normal, and when the concentration increases, and lipase in the pancreas and normal values, and its increased condition level takes place, indicates which organ is affected. In this tabular column you can see the other related diagnostic enzymes. Next is coenzymes or cofactors. Co means cooperative or cooperative enzymes and cooperative factors. For this I want to explain. So this you can see hand in hand, that means cooperation help. Cooperation first two letter where is going to take an as CO. So I usually take some certain different type of examples, uh, thinking that as I am a student learning a biochemistry, so that I can usually give a simple example so that you can relate with the name also, and you can easily remember it also. Hence coenzyme, cooperative enzymes and cooperative factors, and that's why I've shown that diagram, so that you can keep it in the mind for a long time, so that you can easily uh, remember, and you can recall it during the writing this or memorizing this or analyzing this topic. Enzymes require the presence of certain additional organic or inorganic substances. In absence of these substances, the enzyme's catalysis does not take place. That means some organic and inorganic substances are required for the enzymes. In this, if this addition substance is organic in nature, it is called coenzyme, and if the additional group is inorganic, then it is called as cofactors. So coenzymes is also referred as a second substrate, because along with the main substrate they are also required for the enzyme for its function and function as a group transfer agent. So if you can see here in these coenzymes, you can see a main enzyme is a apoenzyme. For that some coenzymes are also attached, and then they will make a whole holoenzyme. Organic molecules that temporarily binds to apoenzyme in order for it to work. So these coenzymes are of different vitamin derived compounds. You can see in this vitamins, and they will give you coenzymes. The first one named nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide NAD, and its symbol and group transferring, and then what is the core component of vitamin. So NADP, you can see the third column NADP, FMN, FAD, coenzyme ATP, and pyridoxal phosphate, B6PO pyridoxal phosphate, and then biotin and folic acid, and how these coenzymes are involved in different types of group transfer reactions is given in the column next to it, and what is the enzyme from which these compounds are derived is also given in the last column. Vitamins are important for body. Why it is important? Because they are important for the formation of coenzymes, and that coenzymes is required for the functioning of enzymes. So eat vitamins. By eating vitamins we will get coenzymes. By getting coenzymes the enzymes will work. So how vitamins will obtained? It is obtained, you can study nutrition. There are different food rich in vitamins, and different types of food contains different types of vitamins. By eating that you will get all these vitamins, and they will give you coenzymes, and that coenzymes is going to help the enzymes during the activity, enzyme activity. So organic or inorganic substances, coenzymes, and usually coenzymes are organic in nature and cofactors are inorganic in nature or mineral ions. Holoenzyme, the functional part of the enzyme is called as holoenzyme. The holoenzyme is constituted of two parts of coenzyme and a coenzyme. The coenzyme can be separated by a dialysis. If the non-protein part is tightly bound to the apoenzyme, which cannot be separated by dialysis, such type of group is called as prosthetic groups. For example, if you are sitting in a chair, if you consider the chair as a apoprotein, I am going to show you. If it is a apoenzyme, you can see if it is a chair, and you can able to put a pillow on it and then sit on that. So a pillow is a additional group, and you can sit. That means yourself is a substrate. So chair is the enzyme, pillow is the additional group, coenzyme or cofactor, and then you are sitting, that is the substrate. So if the pillow you can able to remove from the chair, that means it is loosely bound, that means they are coenzymes. Whereas if it is tightly bound, by for example, if the cushion is firmly attached to the chair and you cannot able to remove the cushion from the chair, and the chair is there, that is enzyme, cushion is there, that is tightly attached, and you will sit on that and you are the substrate, and the tightly bound pillow, that means indicating the additional group tightly bound, it is the prosthetic group. So this is the way I can illustrate you about the difference between coenzyme and the prosthetic group. So prosthetic groups are tightly bound, whereas coenzymes are loosely bound. So hence the complete binding of this apoenzyme coenzyme is going to form holoenzyme. So if you take holoenzyme minus coenzyme is a apoenzyme, or apoenzyme plus coenzyme is a holoenzyme. So protein and non-protein part makes you holoenzyme. We'll continue in the next session. Thank you.